So just a show of hands or thumbs up, how many of you have stories to tell today? All right, so if you have a story, we're gonna take some time to share it. And if you don't, that's okay too. You can share next week. So here we go. We are gonna start with your stories actually. So who would like to go first? Bryant, do you want to go first? Yeah. Okay, wonderful. All right, let's have you be first and share your story. I'm gonna pin the screen on you and the spotlight is on you. And then I'll send you some feedback over Google Classrooms about your story.
Jack and the Genie. Once upon a time, there was a man named Jack. He lived with his wife. One day he went with his friend to eat lunch. There came upon a starving woman, and she said, "I wish I had food." Jack gave his sandwich, and the woman turned into a genie, a powerful genie. Jack wished for a magical carpet. Then the woman gave Jack the magical carpet that could go anywhere, but his friend was greedy. He snatched the magical carpet and went home, but the magical carpet flew all the way to Jack. The next day, his friend kidnapped the magical carpet. Then Jack and his wife tried to go open the jail, but Jack's friend says, "We will do 3 jumps. Whoever wins gets to keep it." Jack had to accept it, but he lost. So Jack's friend kept it. Jack's friend says, "If you want it, you have to challenge me again." So Jack and his wife do exercise to keep strong. They ran, do the heavy weights, play soccer and basketball. Jack and his wife also ate lettuce, broccoli, cucumber, spinach, cauliflower, eggplant, carrot, banana, apple, lemon, salt water, and sour strawberry. After a few days, they became strong and powerful. So Jack and his wife challenged Jack's friend. Jack's friend accepted the challenge. Jack and his friend played arm wrestling, and Jack won. The next challenge was ball flipping, and Jack's friend won. The third challenge was basketball, and Jack won. The fourth challenge was soccer. Jack's friend scored 49 goals, and Jack scored 48 goals, and Jack's friend won. The final challenge was not to laugh. Jack's friend laughed 3 times, and Jack laughed 2 times. So Jack was the winner. Jack's friend says, "Sorry, I didn't mean to take your carpet. I just want Jack to play. That we play, but we can share." Jack's friend says, "Really?" Jack giggled and replied, "Yes, but do not grab my carpet." Jack's friend replied, "Okay." So Jack's friend unlocked the cage. The end.
Amazing. Round of applause for Bryant.
And by the way, I have more than 6 pages. I had 8.
Wow, Bryant, you worked so hard. How long did it take you to write this story?
I'm not sure, but I think it took me like more It took me like a morning.
Wow, I can tell that you worked so hard and it really shows. It's a really exciting and adventurous story. And I love how you had so many themes in your story and lessons for your characters to learn and grow. You talked about generosity, you talked about greed and the dangers of greed, and you even got in eating your vegetables. I thought it was a great story with great characters and a great problem and solution to be solved. So awesome job, Bryant. Thank you so much for working so hard. And I will send you some more feedback and some more ideas on your story in Google Classroom. So check in later today and you'll see some more comments. Amazing. Who else would like to share their story today? Let's see. Ethan, would you like to share your story? Your hand is raised. All right. Who would like to go next? Yes, Crystal.
Part 1, Water Princess by Crystal, my first story book. Once upon a time, there was a princess named Eva. She had a secret that she had powers. One night, she went out to take to the lake and saw the swans waiting for her. Eva jumped in the lake with her water friend. Eva's hair changed color. It turned into blue, not brown anymore. It will turn into blue hair when she is wet, and her name will be called Serena. And everyone tries to hurt her instead of fight, but they always lose. Serena's powers: water, ice, snow, fire, vine, bubble, protect, just like Violet from Incredibles. One day, someone came in the palace and said, I think Eva goes out at the night. We must secretly spy on her. Don't tell her, whispering to the queen and king.
All right. Wonderful. Beautiful story. Round of applause for Crystal. And Crystal sent me beautiful pictures that she has drawn to go with her story. Crystal, would you be okay with me sharing your pictures? Thank you. Okay, let me share my screen. So Crystal made a whole picture book. Here you go. She's got stars. And Crystal, what is this right here?
Wow.
Wow. And this one is my favorite. Look at this beautiful swan. I love this character. And you've got the water. It's a beautiful setting. Yeah, you worked really hard on this. Thank you so much, Crystal. I love this great adventure. And then a crown. And I can't wait to hear the sequel. I loved all your characters, and my favorite part was the swan and the blue colored hair that changes color in the water, and Serena's superpowers. And Serena is such a beautiful name. What great characters and character development. Great job, Chris. Thank you so much for all of your hard work on this. And Viana, did you write a story that you'd like to share today?
Yeah.
Wonderful. All right. Here you go. The mic is yours.
Once upon a time, there was a place where unicorns live. Unicorn World was so happy there until the evil unicorns, and they took over Unicorn World, and the evil unicorns took over the whole world. The evil unicorns was so powerful, and nobody can stop them, and everyone was all sad. So then everyone started to build the unicorn world again. The evil unicorns were so angry, but then the unicorn asked them if they wanted a tea party, and the evil unicorn said yes, and they became like the other unicorns.
Wonderful. Did you say a tea party?
Yeah.
Oh, and that was the solution to the evil unicorns taking over, was they had a tea party and they became friends.
Yeah.
Oh, how wonderful. What a beautiful story. I love the evil unicorns and the unicorn world. So one thing that Deanna did really well is she has a setting in her story, a place where the story takes place, unicorn world. And one thing that I would love for all of you to do a little bit more of next week is to describe the setting where your story takes place. What does it look like? What does it smell like? What can you see? Great job, everyone. Round of applause for Vienna. Thank you for all of your hard work on these stories. They're amazing and so fun. We've got evil unicorns. We've got princesses with magical powers. And we've got flying carpets and great adventures. Wonderful, wonderful. So today we are going to read another book about a great adventure. And here we go. Let me load the presentation. So we're going to do a little warm up and vocabulary to the book, and then we're going to get into reading. And today I'm going to read to you, but I would love if you would help me read some of the vocabulary before we get to the book. So the book that we're going to read today is called Miss Rumphius by Barbara Cooney. What do you think that this book is about looking at the cover of this book? If you had to guess, what do you think this book is going to be about? Who has any ideas? What do you see on this cover? Yes.
I could see some trees.
Some trees. So maybe this book would have something to do with nature or plants. Very good. What else do you guys see?
I think the girl is trying to pick some blue purple flowers.
Very good. The girl is trying to pick some blue and purple flowers. That's right. And that is what this book is about. It's about the girl and about these flowers, which are called lupines. So last week, we talked about all of the different types of storytelling and the history of storytelling. We talked about visual storytelling. We talked about oral storytelling, when you tell the story passed down by word of mouth. And we talked about written stories. What type of story do you guess that this book is going to be based upon the cover? And there might be more than one. What do you think? You think that this is a story that's in pictures only, or a story that is only spoken word with your mouth? Or do you think that this is a story that is written? Or some combination of the two? Any guesses? How about Bryant? Bryant, what do you guess?
The picture.
Pictures, that's right, because you can see there's some really beautiful pictures. Very good. Any other types of book that you think that it might be using? What else do you see on this cover? Do you think it's only a picture book? Or how about candy? What else do you see on the cover other than just pictures?
Words.
That's right, words. So we know just from looking at the cover that this book is visual storytelling, using your eyes, using pictures, and also a written story. All right, and looking at the cover, do you have any guesses about the genre of the book? Genre means the type or category of the book. And the two types are fiction, which is a story about people and events that are not real, literature that tells stories which are imagined by the writer, or nonfiction, which is a story about a real event or real person. Which one do you guess that this one might be?
I think it's a nonfiction.
Ah, interesting. And why do you think that it's nonfiction?
Because the artwork is cartoon, so it's feel like it might be nonfiction.
The artwork is cartoons. So you think that it's real or not real?
Not real.
So that would be fiction. So it's a little confusing because of the way that it's worded, but fiction is not real and nonfiction is real. It is a little confusing. You would think it would be the other way around because non means not. So it would be easy to get that confused. But you're absolutely right. It is a fiction book. And there's also some little details in it that are also nonfiction and similar to the life of the author. So very, very good. So this is the author of Miss Rumphius. She kind of looks like, to me, that lady that's on the front of the cover, don't you think? Looks very similar. Her name is Barbara Cooney, and she is also the illustrator. What does illustrator mean? Does anyone know?
It means that they draw in the book, but Alfred is the one who writes.
Very, very good. You got it. The author is the person who writes, and the illustrator is the person who draws the picture. And she is both. She is both a writer and an artist, which is magical. And here are some other details about her life. I think it's really interesting to know a little bit about the author's life so that when you read the book, maybe you can see some of the similarities between the characters and the author's life. So she is from America. She lived in Maine, and she wrote 110 children's books, including a lot of books like this one that won tons and tons of awards for the words and the illustrations. She was also in the Army in World War II. She was a veteran. So very interesting because it was somewhat unusual for women to be in the Army a long time ago. And she had 4 kids. And most importantly, she loved to travel. So maybe you might see some common themes in this book about traveling. And in this book, Miss Rumphius explores one child's journey in learning how to make the world more beautiful. Before we begin, I'd like us to brainstorm and think together about what can we do to make the world more beautiful. So I want to hear some of your ideas and we'll write them on this board. What are some things that you think we can do to make the world more beautiful? Oops. Yes. Sorry, I didn't hear you. Could you say that again?
Plant more trees.
Plant more trees. What a great idea. Let's put that on the board. Plant more trees. That definitely would make the world more beautiful and make the air cleaner as well. What else? Yes.
Keep watering plants.
Keep watering the plants, especially this year and this summer. This has been a big problem. There have been a lot of droughts, and the droughts are causing a lot of fires all over Canada and the United States, and California is actually running out of water. So you're right, the plants need more water, and we also need to protect that water. Yes, you have another idea.
Save water.
Save water. Ooh, that's a really good one. That's right. Because there are places that are completely running out of water. And what are some ways we can save water?
By not dropping lots of water.
Not dropping lots of water. That's right. Not using lots of water. Very good. Very good. What else do you guys think? Any more ideas of how to make the world more beautiful? These are really great ideas. Yes.
Grow more plants so they're
Grow more plants. Ooh, very good idea. I think you like this book actually, because this book talks a lot about that. Very good. Vienna, do you have any ideas?
Add more flowers.
Plant more flowers. What a perfect transition or move into our book. Great idea. And I think one of our main characters of our book will have some of these same ideas that you guys have. So let's see.
I have another one.
Yeah, what's your other one?
Grow fruits and vegetables.
Ooh, I love that. I'm growing a tomato plant right now.
And also my friend Philip grows a garden.
Oh, how lovely. What does he grow in his garden?
He grows peppers and he also has 2 ducks. He has potato leaf, I think.
Ooh, potatoes. So fun. These are all great ideas. Great job. All
I know
right.
another one. I know another one.
Okay, one more. Here we
Grow
go.
wheat.
Grow wheat. Oh, that's an interesting one. Why wheat? Wheat, like as in wheat that you make bread with?
Yeah, and also rice.
Grow wheat and rice. And why do you think it would make the world more beautiful to grow wheat and rice? It's very interesting. What would you do with that wheat and rice?
Make rice and bread.
Oh, so you would feed people and help people who are hungry.
And also my friend Philip has mushrooms.
Oh, I love mushrooms. That's wonderful. What great ideas you all have. These are all amazing ideas. So these are lupines. And I was hoping that you guys could help me a little bit with the vocabulary of the book before we start reading the book. So who wants to read the first one? First one, this word is lupine. Yes.
Lupine, a type of wildflower in the pea family that has blue, pink, red,
Orange, sorry, that's misspelled. Typo.
white, or yellow flowers. Some are
Annuals.
some are
Good. Perennials.
what again?
Annuals and perennials. Annuals are flowers that only grow once, or plants that only grow once and then they die and they don't come back the next year. Perennials are plants that when they die in the winter, they come back every year over and over and over again. And lupines are cool because they're both.
They are loved by butterflies. Blue butterfly.
Very good. Yeah, so this butterfly is endangered, which means there's not many of them still alive. And these butterflies, their favorite plant in the whole world is these lupines. So lupines are very special because only this plant is loved by this butterfly that is very endangered and very rare or not seen in a lot of places. Yes. Would you like to read the next one?
Yeah.
Great.
Wharf. A flat structure that is built along the shore of a river, ocean, etc., so that ships can load and unload cargo or passengers.
Very good. And wharf is a noun, a person, place, or thing. This picture is an example of a wharf. It's the spot that you stand on or that you unload cargo. Cargo means things that the ship is carrying, like big containers or suitcases or boxes or passengers, which means people who are on the ship. Can anyone give me a sentence using the word wharf?
Do you said sentence?
An example sentence.
There is a wharf on this page.
Very good. Very good. Or for example, the crew unloaded all of the suitcases onto the wharf, which means onto this surface right here. Very good. All right, who would like to read the next one? Sure.
Control the front of a ship.
Very good. And that's also a noun, a person, place, or thing. Does anyone have a sentence? Yeah?
The pro is in front of.
Very good. That is very direct and to the point. The prow is in the front of the ship.
Can I read the next
Sure.
conserve? A school where students learn music, theater, or dance. A room or building with glass walls and glass roofs that is used for growing plants.
Very good. And that word is conservatory. Let's all say it together. Conservatory. Very good. So this is an interesting word because there's two definitions to this word. It's both a school where people study music or theater or dance, or it's a room or building with glass walls and a glass roof used for growing plants, kind of like a greenhouse. And which of these meanings do you think that probably the story is going to use the word conservatory for? What do you guess?
Second reason.
Why? That's a great guess. Why do you get that?
Because on the picture it shows plants.
Very good. I think that is a very interesting prediction.
Not completely dry, having a lot of
Moisture.
in the air, humidity.
Very good. Moisture means water or liquid. And the word is moist. It's a weird sounding word. Does anyone have a sentence with moist?
Cattle.
Good. Catalog.
A book containing a list of things that you can buy, use, etc. and often pictures. A group of similar or related things to list or describe something in an organized.
I'm not supposed to say way. I think it's in the bottom.
Right.
Organized way. Very good. And which one do you think is going to be the one that the book uses? This is a tricky guess. I don't even know.
The third reason.
Very good. And why do you think it's the third reason?
Because I think because they're describing the colors.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think that is a good prediction. And this picture on the left, does anyone know what this thing is? I'm guessing you probably do not. Yeah, do you know what it is?
I think those are locks.
Oh, good guess, but that's not what it is. What do you think it is?
I think it is where we put our clothes hanging.
Where you put your clothes to hang them? Oh, another really creative, good guess because it's got hooks on it. But that is not what it is either. Yeah. Last guess.
I think that could be the second reason.
Group of similar. Actually, this one is the third reason. The third definition. So this thing, you guys have probably never seen one of these in your lifetimes. When I was little and your mom and your dad, your parents were little, we used to have to use one of these things. It's a whole wall of tiny little drawers. And if you wanted to find a book in the library, you had to search through all of these little drawers for a little card that would tell you where in the library the book was. And now this doesn't exist because you have another way of looking for books. What is that other way?
Going into the library.
And then when you go in, if there's a book that you want, what do you do?
Bookshelf.
Yeah, you could go look at the bookshelf, but what if you wanted the Cat in the Hat specifically? How would you find where in the library that book is?
You can ask a librarian.
Yeah, or what else can you do? Yes.
I think you can also look at the words where it says Cat in the Hat.
Yeah, you could look for the words. And there's some other device or machine that you can also, that's right, you can search in the computer. So now all of the card catalogs all over the world are in computers so that you don't have to spend hours looking through thousands of little cards to figure out where your book is. So it's much easier now than it was when we were kids. But before then, that was how that they organized the books. And last word, who would like to read the last vocabulary word?
To move around or go to different places, usually without having a particle propose or
particular purpose.
Particular purpose or direction, to follow a path or many turns, to go away from a path, course,
etc. Very good. Wander. How many of you like to wander? Raise your hands. I love to wander. I love to wander through the forest. I love to wander on the beach. I love to wander around the world and travel. Yes. Did you have a comment?
Can I say a sentence?
Yes, go for it. And while you're talking, all right. So today I'm going to read the book and I'm going to ask you some questions while we're reading and we're going to interact. Oh, this is interesting. In this version of the book, there's a different color, a different cover. Very interesting. So there's more than one cover for this book. Here we go. Miss Rumphius, Story and Pictures by Barbara Cooney. To Saint Nicholas, patron saint of children, sailors, and maidens. The lupine lady lives in a small house overlooking the sea. In between the rocks around her house grow blue and purple and rose-colored flowers. The lupine lady is little and old, but she has not always been that way. I know. She is my great aunt, and she told me so. Once upon a time, she was a little girl named Alice, who lived in a city by the sea. From the front stoop, she could see the wharves and the bristling masts of tall ships. Many years ago, her grandfather had come to America on a large sailing ship. Now he worked in the shop at the bottom of the house, making figureheads for the prows of ships and carving Indians out of wood to put in front of cigar stores. For Alice's grandfather was an artist. He painted pictures, too, of sailing ships and places across the sea. When he was very busy, Alice helped him put in the skies. Oh, so very interesting. What do you think a figurehead is based upon these pictures? That's a word that I don't know. Can anyone help me? It says that he made figureheads for the prows of ships. What did we learn the prow was? What part of the ship? Yes.
Front of the ship.
That's right. So if we look at the pictures here at the front of the ship, what do you think it is that he is making and carving? What part of the front of that ship in this picture on the left? If you look at the picture on the left and then you look at what he's carving in the picture of the right. What do you think it is?
Maybe. Well, which guy are you talking about?
This grandpa right here. See that
That's,
Grandpa is carving something. He's chiseling something with a chisel and a mallet. That's a mallet, is a hammer.
well, I think it is the ship that is on, like, there's, I think, like a dress on here.
Yeah, exactly. He's making like a little decorative wooden piece for the front of the ship. You see on the picture on the left how it has this brown, very pretty spirally wooden thing on the prow. So that is what he's carving. That's called a figurehead. It's a little decoration that goes on the front of the ship. Very good. Oops, did I miss one? In the evening, Alice sat on her grandfather's knee and listened to his stories of faraway places. When he had finished, Alice would say, "When I grow up, I too will go to faraway places. And when I grow old, I too will live beside the sea." "That is all very well, little Alice," said her grandfather, "but there is a third thing you must do." "What is that?" asked Alice. "You must do something to make the world more beautiful," said her grandfather. "All right," said Alice, but she did not know what that could be. In the meantime, Alice got up and washed her face and ate porridge for breakfast. She went to school and came home and did her homework. And pretty soon she was grown up. So what is the third thing that Alice's grandfather asked Alice to do? Yes.
To make the world more beautiful.
That's right. And why do you think he asked that? How is she going to do that? Yes.
So she will grow more plants and flowers.
Oh, that is a great prediction. Very good. Then my great Aunt Alice set out to do the three things she had told her grandfather she was going to do. She left home and went to live in another city far from the sea and the salt air. There she worked in a library, dusting books and keeping them from getting mixed up, and helping people find the ones they wanted. Some of the books told her about faraway places. People called her Miss Rumphius now. Sometimes she went to the conservatory in the middle of the park. When she stepped inside on a wintry day, the warm, moist air wrapped itself around her, and the sweet smell of jasmine filled her nose. "This is almost like a tropical isle," said Miss Rumphius, "but not quite." Huh. So which definition of conservatory was right? Yeah,
The second one? The second one?
that's right. You guys were right. The second one, it is a building full of plants. And it does look exactly like a greenhouse, doesn't it? You got it. So you predicted correctly. Very, very
Like a
good.
greenhouse because the plants are green.
Exactly. And what does it mean, the warm, moist air? What do you think the air felt like when she was breathing it in?
You mute it. I think the moist air means like not dry air.
Exactly. And
Really,
what word would you use?
not really dry.
Exactly. And what is the word for not dry air? Does anyone know the word?
Moist.
Yeah, that's one word. There's another word. It gets this way a lot here in the South where I live in Tennessee. It starts with an H. When the air is really wet and thick and heavy.
Hot. Heavy.
Hot. Heavy. No. Huge.
Huge.
Nope. Humid.
Humongous.
Humid. The air is humid. Yeah. That means it's filled with water. Very good. Good guesses. So Miss Rumphius went to a real tropical island where people kept cockatoos and monkeys as pets. She walked along long beaches, picking up beautiful shells. One day she met the Baba Raja, king of a fishing village. You must be tired, he said. Come into my house and rest. So Miss Rumphius went in and met the Baba Raja's wife. The Baba Raja fetched a green coconut and cut a slice off the top so Miss Rumphius could drink the coconut water inside. Before she left, the Baba Raja gave her a beautiful mother of pearl shell on which he had painted a bird of paradise and the words, You will always remain in my heart. You will always remain in mine too, said Miss Rumphius. My great aunt, Miss Alice Rumphius, climbed tall mountains where the snow never melted. She went through jungles and across deserts. She saw lions playing and kangaroos jumping. And everywhere she made friends she would never forget. Finally, she came to the land of the lotus eaters, and there, getting off a camel, she hurt her back. What a foolish thing to do, said Miss Rumphius. Well, I have certainly seen faraway places. Maybe it is time to find my place by the sea. And it was, and she did. From the porch of her new house, Miss Rumphius watched the sun come up. She watched it cross the heavens and sparkle on the water, and she saw it set in glory in the evening. She started a little garden among the rocks that surrounded her house, and she planted a few flower seeds in the stony ground. Miss Rumphius was almost perfectly happy. But there is still one more thing I have to do, she said. I have to do something to make the world more beautiful. But what? The world is already pretty nice, she thought, looking out over the ocean. Why do you guys think that Miss Rumphius was only almost perfectly happy? What do you think is missing for Miss Rumphius? Yes.
When she was little, her father said make the world more beautiful, so she's missing something to make the world more beautiful.
Oh, very good. Very, very good. I wonder what she'll do. The next spring, Miss Rumphius was not very well. Her back was bothering her again, and she had to stay in bed most of the time. The flowers she had planted the summer before had come up and bloomed in spite of the stony ground. She could see them from her bedroom window, blue and purple and rose-colored. Lupines, said Miss Rumphius with satisfaction. I have always loved lupines the best. I wish I could plant more seeds this summer so that I could have still more flowers next year. But she was not able to. After a hard winter, spring came. Miss Rumphius was feeling much better. Now she could take walks again. One afternoon, she started to go up and over the hill where she had not been in a long time. I don't believe my eyes, she cried when she got to the top. For there, on the other side of the hill, was a large patch of blue and purple and rose-colored lupines. It was the wind, she said as she knelt in delight. It was the wind that brought the seeds from my garden here, and the birds must have helped. Then Miss Rumphius had a wonderful idea. She hurried home and got out her seed catalogs. She sent off to the very best tea house for 5 bushels of lupine seed. All that summer, Miss Rumphius, her pockets full of seeds, wandered over fields and headlands sowing lupines. She scattered the seeds along highways and down the country lanes. She flung handfuls of them around the schoolhouse and back of the church. She tossed them into hollows and along stone walls. Her back didn't hurt her anymore at all. Now some people called her that crazy old lady. Why do you think people would call her that crazy old lady?
Because she always plant lupines.
And do you guys agree, or do you think that that's not very nice, or what do you think about that?
I think that they call her crazy old lady because she throws throwing those seeds everywhere.
Oh, and do you think she was a crazy old lady?
And I also
Yeah.
think that that is nice because plants can grow to fruits or vegetables.
Oh, very good. So thumbs up if you think she is a crazy old lady. Thumbs down if you think she's not a crazy old lady. I see a lot of thumbs up. And is that like a halfway thumbs up, or is that up or down, or don't know? Kind of both. There's a lot of thumbs up that a lot of you think that she's a crazy old lady. Interesting. The next spring, there were lupines everywhere. Fields and hillsides were covered with blue and purple and rose-colored flowers. They bloomed along the highways and down the lanes. Bright patches lay around the schoolhouse and back of the church. Down in the hollows and along the stone walls grew the beautiful flowers. Miss Rumphius had done the third, the most difficult thing of all. My great aunt Alice, Miss Rumphius, is very old now. Her hair is very white. Every year there are more and more lupines. Now they call her the lupine lady. Sometimes my friends stand with me outside her gate, curious to see the old lady who planted the fields of lupines. When she invites us in, they come slowly. They think she is the oldest woman in the world. Often she tells us stories of faraway places. When I grow up, I tell her, I too will go to faraway places and come home to live by the sea. That is all very well, little Alice, says my aunt, but there is a third thing you must do. What is that? I ask. What do you guys think it is?
Make the world beautiful.
That's right. You must do something to make the world more beautiful. All right, I say. The end. So do you think that Miss Rumphius achieved all of her goals? Yes, thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Yes, very good. All right. So let's get into our assignment. And before we get into our assignment, does anyone see any similarities between the author's biography, the story of the author's life, and Miss Rumphius? Yes, Brian.
It's a little bit similar because the author likes to make books and Miss Rumphius likes to make lupines.
Oh, that's right. Very good. What else do you guys remember about the author's life and what she did during her life? There's one more thing that's pretty similar. Oh, Brian, did you remember it?
No, but I just.
So the author also loved to travel the world and also loved flowers and art and making things beautiful. So I think in some ways, even though this is a fictional book, it also has some nonfiction in it. It has some truth about the author's own life and her own experiences. Very good. All right, so your assignment for next class
Is what?
Two assignments.
What?
Assignments. I know. Dun, dun, dun. Assignment number 1 is to do a summary board. So here is a trick to make a summary much faster and